Hey everyone, today I'm doing another 10 terms related to trans right now. So yeah, if you haven't seen the previous videos, I've done quite a few already. So feel free to check those out. If you're in the LGBT community, a lot of these words you probably know them already and they seem like quite simple things. But for a lot of other people out there who are not in the trans or LGBT community, they won't know what these words are. And I think, as always, it's important to explain to people what these words are. And as always, I'm also doing the Cantonese video version as well. And there's definitely very little Cantonese resources out there. So the Cantonese version for me is more important, but since I'm doing the Cantonese version anyway, I'm going to do this English version. So the first word I want to use is kathoi or katori. That is what the people in Thailand used to use or still use to this day to mean someone who is a non-op trans woman, boy to female, but they probably won't have their sex change operation. They might be just on medication only. Or they might have had a breast enhancement surgery or something like that, but they're not getting it done down there. That's just a very traditional word or term that they've been using for many years to describe people like that, because the trans woman, or I'm going to use this word now, ladyboy as a word in Thailand, has been something that's in their culture for many years. So this is a very old word. And some of the descriptions, as it would say here, is a katori is an identity used by some people in Thailand whose identities in English may be best described as a transgender woman in some cases, or effeminate gay men in other cases. A significant number of Thais perceive katori as belonging to a separate sex, including some transgender women themselves. So it's something to do with their Buddhism that they have this word. It's embedded into their culture and religion as well. And a lot of them might, if you go to Thailand to see a kathoi show, they're on stage, they're dancing and singing, and a lot of those were boys who had hormones put into them at a very young age. Now, number two, I want to use the word gays. Now, gay just means a man who likes another man, but when I'm talking about it when it's being used in the Philippines, for a long time, gay men as well as trans women have been referred to as gays. Now that's been slowly changing into separating it apart. Like you've got gay guys and you've got trans women and stuff. But for a long time, since 10 years ago, at least I know till now, there's still a lot of people that would just refer to a bunch of trans women or gay people as the gays, just as an overall term. I'm not saying it's correct, I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just saying that's something that's been used a lot in the Philippines. Third one is a Japanese term, otokonoko, which just means translates to male daughter or male girl. This is a Japanese term for men who have a culturally feminine gender expression. It is often combined with the cosplay of female fictional characters by men. So in Hong Kong, we always use this word to refer to the cross-dressers and cosplayers as well. That's why I know this word, because a lot of Hong Kong people use it. But there's also some negative connotations, because I've also seen this word used a lot for adult like videos and porn and stuff. But overall, it seems to be a generally accepted term, and the most important thing is it's not just cross-dressing. A lot of it is related to cosplay cross-dressing. So it's not just simple cross-dresser, although a lot of trans women or cross-dresser women in Japan will also use this term in their tags just to get more people to find out about them and to spread their Instagrams and stuff. Okay, so those three were sort of country-specific terms that you can use in English to refer to some trans people. The rest of the words are not that, just other general terms that I find useful in knowing in relation to the trans community. The next one is gender dysphoria. For now, in the past, some people will call this gender identity disorder, but people don't use this disorder anymore because it sounds like you're sick. Okay, so in some ways, when we have gender dysphoria, it is because we have a mental issue in our minds where we don't feel comfortable in our current bodies. We're not comfortable with our current gender. So for some people, you would say that, okay, you need help, you need medical or psychiatric help to deal with this. So it is, in a way, a disorder, but the word disorder makes it sound like there's something really wrong with us, like this, like we all have issues and stuff, and you're stepping down on us when you use this word. So while technically, yes, everyone who has gender dysphoria does have issues. That's why we do these things, medical transition and surgical transition and stuff. But it's just polite to say dysphoria, just so it sounds nicer and not like, hey, there's something wrong with you. We like to feel like we're living lives where there's nothing wrong with us. Just trying to live every day as normally as we can. Next word is transition. This should be pretty self-explanatory. It just means someone who is transitioning from one gender to the other, like me and myself. For the most part, with medical transition, the average timeline for the basic medical transition is 2 years. 2 years is where all the main changes will occur. After that, you might want some surgeries to do some things where the medical stuff couldn't change. But yeah, for the most part, the transition period is 2 years for medical stuff. And so when someone says like, hey, someone's currently in transition, then that means they're not quite there yet. For me, I've been on hormones for like 16 months now, but at about 12 or 1 year or 13 months, I was already living outside full time as a woman. Like I dress as a woman, do makeup and stuff. No one looks at me like, oh, that person looks weird. Like, is that a man? So for me, my transition period was like a year and a bit. So I'm quite lucky. But for most people, the average would be 2 years. The next one is RLE or RLT, real life experience and real life test. So real experience, I'm going to have to read this now because it's a pretty long thing. Generally accepted guideline from the standards of care for gender identity disorders that requires clients to live outwardly in the gender that matches their gender identity for a specific period of time, typically 1 year prior to being eligible for genital surgery. Less often referred to as real-life test, which is considered a misleading, unvisited term and therefore should be avoided. So yes, real-life experience. I recently did the video where I met a psychiatrist and he gave me that real-life experience letter that says I am living as a female and I should be referred to as such. And I was so happy getting that piece of paper because I have been living as a female for a lot of months, at least half a year already. By the time I saw the psychiatrist, so he just gave me that letter where I read because he can see how I look and the hormones I was taking and all that such. But for a lot of countries, it's just important to have this letter to say, hey, you can use the for example, the toilets or bathrooms, public bathrooms of your identified gender. You can be allowed to have the sex change operation and allowed certain things to be identified as the gender that you desire. So next word I want to talk about is closet. And there's a word related to that, stealth versus coming out. So closet is someone who's not literally a closet. Closet is someone who hasn't come out yet. Like they haven't told anyone that they are transgender. For me, for many years, even 10 years, I was in the closet after I realized that maybe I wanted to be opposite gender, but because of my mother, I couldn't come out. I felt trapped. So I was trapped in the closet, stuck in the closet as it were. And stealth is a similar word because stealth means someone who looks like the opposite gender so much that no one would ever know. Like a ninja, like they're in stealth mode. Like no one would ever look at them and say, hey, you're not a woman, or hey, you're not a guy. So, and they're protecting it very close to themselves. Like they don't tell anyone. And coming out is the opposite. Coming out is, I'm coming out of the closet now. I'm telling people that, hey, I'm transgender, hey, I'm gay, hey, I'm lesbian. Letting people know that your sexual identity or your gender is not what people thought it was. And just remember one thing, coming out can be a very hard and traumatizing experience if it's not approached correctly. So just be supportive and be careful with someone who's coming out. Okay, number 8 is passing versus getting clocked, read, or spooked. Passing is someone, or I like to think I pass when I'm in the street, especially when wearing a facial mask. No one ever looks at me funny when I go in the women's bathroom. No one looks at me funny in the street, like, why is this dude or guy wearing clothes like this? No. So passing is someone who, passes off as their desired gender. So passing is to refer to a trans person who looks right or looks like a normal person of their desired gender. And so when you're getting clocked is when someone says like, hey, you're not a woman, hey, you're not a guy. And even if you see someone like that in the street, try not to do that. That's again a very hurtful and very traumatizing thing for someone to experience. If I was in the street and someone pointed at me and said I was a man, I'd be embarrassed, I'd be shy, I might be upset. I don't know yet because that's never happened to me, but I like to think that if I got clocked, I would stand my ground saying, yeah, I'm a trans woman, so what? Like, what's it to you? Because I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of the things that I do. So I'd like to think I'd be okay. But, there will be circumstances, situations where if you get clocked and there's a lot of people that start to bully you, it would be, a very upsetting thing to happen. So if you're on the opposite end, then don't try to clock someone and point them out. Just leave them be. Most of us, we just want to live a normal life, just like everyone else. I'm not pushing my transness in someone's face, as it were. And another word you might use for clocking is also outing. So you got passing and you got outing. So finally, we have transphobia. And transphobia is a word means someone who's afraid of or disgusted of trans people. Pretty much the same. If it was in terms of race, you'd be a racist. If it's in terms of just different genders, you'd be a sexist. Transphobia doesn't mean you're quivering in fear when you see trans woman, like, oh no, that's a trans woman, please don't kill me. Like, that's not when we have arachnophobia, when we're scared of spiders, we're not like, oh my god, the spider's gonna kill me. We're scared of it. We don't want to touch it. We don't want to move up to a spider, but doesn't mean we're in fear of the spider destroying my culture or destroying my life. So recently there was a complete idiot talking about like, hey, I'm not scared of trans. How can I be a transphobia? But then he said, I'm scared of the things that they would do. Well, yeah, I'm not scared of a spider and it'll take over the country, but I'm scared I wake up with a spider on my face. I'm scared of a spider that might lay eggs on me. Like, that's arachnophobia. So this person's an idiot. Like, just because you say you're not scared of a person, but you're scared of their actions, so you are scared of the person. So what the hell are you on about? So transphobia is just people who are in general fear for whatever reason they feel like trans people is threatening their lifestyle or their life for some reason. I don't know. And or they think that trans people are threatening people that they know. Like, here's an important thing to remember. Like, you cannot force someone to be trans no more than you can force someone to be cis. It's just how it is. The brains work different for everyone, and everyone has their own decided sense. So, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this video, is to explain certain things or let certain people know that, hey, things are okay. This person just wants to dress different. This person just wants to live their lives a bit differently. How I live my life does not affect yours in any way possible. But there's always some people out there who just never understand that. That's why no matter how educated people are, they'll always be racist, they'll always be sexist, and they'll just always be hateful people. So, but that's what transphobia means anyway. And for people who have transphobia, I feel sorry for you that you're somehow scared of people who are different. I don't know why. I can never identify with you because I don't get it. I'm not scared of any groups of people. I judge people by their actions. If they're hurting someone, I would dislike them. If they're helping someone, I would like them. I don't care what gender, what color, or what country or race you come from. I don't care. I care about the heart, soul, and if you're a decent human being or not, if you respect other people. And that's it. So I have no idea how to identify with someone who's racist, sexist, or transphobic. So that's what transphobia means anyway. So thank you again for watching this video. Those were 10 terms related to the transgender community, and I hope you learned something today. I hope I didn't get anything wrong. Feel free to leave comments below, suggest some words that I might do for next time, or ask me any questions that you like. As always, words have no meanings behind them. It's the intention that what they're being used for. And also, as always, take care, have a nice day. I'll see you guys soon. Bye!